Terrabotics is an Earth observation and remote sensing data analytics company focused primarily on developing and deploying solutions for the global energy and mining and natural resources sectors. Now, I think it's true to say that the world's mineral resources, production and supply chains are complex and globally distributed, with resources often found in some of the most remote and challenging locations around the world. And so we certainly believe that remote sensing satellite data, and also complemented by drone-mounted aerial data and increasingly IoT sensors deployed on the ground, these are uniquely suited to provide new valuable, global and objective solutions to help the mining industry and its stakeholders invest and operate more efficiently, safely, responsibly and sustainably, particularly in these often extreme and out-of-sight environments, and even more so with the new focus and lens on the mining sector by the ESG community. Now, satellite remote sensing data and methods, for example, such as optical imaging and multispectral imaging, have long been used in the exploration community by the mining sector to aid mineral mapping and prospecting. And this is certainly how myself and many of the Terrabotics team as geoscientists and remote sensing specialists started out in the industry. However, in recent years, we have seen a dramatic new commercial civilian space revolution and huge government investment into the sector, with hundreds of new remote sensing satellites being launched into space. And these are generating an unprecedented abundance and also variety of continuously updating data. We're talking petabytes per year per satellite for hundreds of satellites. And it's not just images, not just pretty pictures, but a variety of new and updated sensing data coming from radar sensors, laser, thermal infrared, and even gas emission sensors that can sense and measure methane concentrations, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and so on, giving us new, objective and truly measured data sets on a global scale. So it's this sheer abundance and variety of raw data which opens up brand new opportunities to create more dynamic monitoring and mapping solutions to help solve all manner of issues at various stages of the mining life cycle and supply chain, especially blended with typical data and reporting sources. So we can move from simple static baseline mapping to dynamic environmental, biodiversity and natural capital assessments that capture the information before a project starts and then continuously monitor it all the way through to closure. We can create live risk assessments, such as proximity risk assessments to growing local populations or sensitive environmental areas. For example, if new tailings facilities are being planned or old legacy assets are having to be managed. And so it's this huge amount of data that gives us an unprecedented new lens on the industry globally. There is not a mining asset, location or project in the world that we cannot get some data of over a long period of time to reveal new sources of information and insights. However, the key challenge now is to make sense of all of this raw sensing data, and that requires an array of key ingredients to converge, and that's really what Terrabotics is all about. We create new solutions out of this raw sensing data by the convergence of various key enabling technologies. We design and develop and deploy highly automated data processing pipelines that combine and transform raw satellite sensing data, as well as other sources of sensing data from ground sensors and other third-party sources. These are blended, fused, made sense of, and turned into information products that are specifically tailored to various mining problems throughout the life cycle for various different stakeholders such as investors, regulators, and indeed the mining operators themselves. For example, one of our regular solutions, Minotaur, provides operational mines with monthly high-precision 3D volume metrics about their stock, waste piles and open pits, all derived from raw satellite stereo images and our in-house algorithms. This helps the mines better plan and more frequently manage their risks associated with slope failure, for example. This is a case study for a diamond mining client in Africa, where we deliver rapid 3D terrain assessments within 24 hours of satellite image acquisition to help them meet their regulatory reporting requirements, such as reporting on stock waste pile heights, size, volumes, at a fraction of the cost and time of on-the-ground surveys, including drone surveys, whilst covering huge areas and helping negotiate difficult and remote terrain. Another case study, at a completely different scale, highlights the power of these new satellite data sources to provide really objective verification of company disclosures to investors and regulators for ESG purposes. For example, the recent Church of England Pensions Board-led Tailings Dam Safety Initiative required that 266 listed mining companies, disclose the exact location and status of their mining waste tailings dams. But how does one verify and check that such company disclosures are accurate and correct? So Terrabotics was commissioned to develop a solution to provide independent satellite image-based verification of these 1,700 plus disclosures around the world. So no small task. This is a job that is uniquely suited to satellite imagery with its global view and blended with artificial intelligence and computer vision methods to automatically find and verify tailings dams visually and at scale all around the world. And so, for example, our solution in this case found a number of inaccurate disclosures as well as many non-disclosed tailings. For example, some locations might have been reported incorrectly, where the latitude and longitude coordinates were given as the mine gates rather than the tailings facility itself. Now, this is critically important. We need to know the exact location of such facilities if we're going to assess the risk, the proximity risk of those to local populations and the environment. In some cases, there's been no disclosures at all. It's only listed companies that were asked, and there are many mining facilities around the world. There are even older legacy tailings facilities that might not have been disclosed. We're able to find those with the satellite data and add those to the database. So we continue to develop and improve the algorithms to scan the Earth in its entirety and complete the job. So that was on a global scale. But furthermore, we're also working with mining companies themselves in detailed, more local scales. So if we look at specific company tailings disclosures, for example, this is one from the Tailings Safety Initiative, where it states that a risk assessment was conducted in 2005 for the risk of flooding inundation effects to the local community. Yet our focused satellite time series analysis over this very same mining site and change detection analyses reveals that the local community footprint has in fact more than tripled in size since 2005, and thus most likely invalidated the stated risk assessment. So we are working with the mining company in this case directly to provide them with these analyses to update their risk managements for the site. And so hopefully this all shows the power of these new remote sensing data sources, coupled with appropriate processing and analysis to provide objective tools for better management and reporting for mining operations. So in summary, we have a huge amount of raw satellite data and other sensing modes available, and the challenge is to really transform all of this into useful, actionable information and mining specific solutions. But when that is achieved, as hopefully we've shown some examples of that, and we're only just beginning, we can create new powerful tools to help the industry operate in a more transparent, responsible and efficient manner, in particular to meet the new and growing demands of the ESG community. So that's all for this session, but thank you for listening. And if you require any more information about how TerraRobotics can provide solutions to make mining projects and operations more efficient, sustainable and compliant, then these are our contact details. Send us an email and we'll be happy to see what we can do. Thank you.